Greetings, my fellow rejects. We are officially one day away from the full 1.0 release of Darktide, and the beta servers are officially down until tomorrow. I've spent a ton of time in the beta over the last couple weeks, which has answered a lot of important questions that I'm sure you're curious about before picking it up, and I'm really excited to share with you my first impressions. After 75 hours in the Darktide beta, I can confidently say that I'm going to be doing a ton of content for this game, guys. I'm a huge Warhammer 40k fan, the co-op survival shooter genre is one of my all-time favorites, and I've been an avid Tide player since day one. So if you're new to the channel and looking forward to Darktide, hit that subscribe button and join me for all my future content. I'll be doing a full review, beginner and advanced tips and tricks videos, build guides, best tactic and strategy videos, and a bunch more. Needless to say, but I love the game so far, guys. And I say so far because the beta has had a limited list of content compared to what the full release will include. There's only a select number of missions we've been able to play, big parts of the main hub where you can join a game, purchase weapons, test out and upgrade equipment, and customize your character have all slowly been getting rolled out. There's quite a bit that's just not accessible yet or is clearly reserved for the full release, future DLCs, and other content the developer Fat Shark will undoubtedly be releasing. So do consider this only a first impressions video and not my full review of the game.
The Emperor is pleased.
The first thing that really blew my mind after jumping into the game is just how Warhammer 40k it actually is. As a longtime fan of the universe, I wasn't sure how well they would depict the world, especially since it isn't going to be focused on any particular Space Marine Legion, specific story arc, or existing battle that's already been written about, at least as far as we know. However, it is very much what Warhammer 40k games, models, codexes, and books have cemented into my mind as what it would actually look like, sound like, and feel like to be in the world. The details of its levels, characters, the overall atmosphere, and all the little things that visually get represented in the game are very true to the lore, and from what I've experienced so far, it's something really special that's gotten the treatment I've wanted in a Warhammer video game forever. So if you're a 40k fan as well, you're in store for something awesome here.
By your scars we shall know you.
If you are at all familiar with the gameplay from the Vermintide series, then you'll feel right at home in Darktide. The combat and movement mechanics are as rich and fun as they've ever been. You're dodging, parrying, blocking, drawing aggro, and kiting enemies all over the place, and they've even added a sprint and slide ability, which are both tastefully done, and instead of having temp health in the game, you now have a shield or toughness bar that you can replenish by getting kills. It feels and plays like Vermintide 2, but with all these added abilities and adjustments, it just feels dialed in and fresh. The weapons and character attachments follow the same methodology with varying power levels, performance stats, and perks that you can level up and use to min-max your builds, which at this point can be a little bit confusing since there's a lot of symbols and descriptions that don't provide enough or any information that allows you to make certain decisions on how to properly boost certain stats to maximize your playstyle. Fat Shark has been rolling out some of that already though, so I'm looking forward to more info here. Regardless, it feels accessible with the added bonus of being able to really trick out each of your characters depending on how you want to play them, which I'm loving.
Thou shalt not yield.
The last positive thing I want to cover, because there are a couple issues I'll touch on before I close, is just how well defined and fun as hell each character class is to play. Each class is still a bit malleable based on the build you create, but This is definitely streamlined a bit, where instead of having a different version of each character that leans toward a specific playstyle, you get to build one of each character, which there's 4 of total, from scratch that each have significant differences that make them inherently better at certain things. I really like this change as well. My characters feel unique from a visual and voice line perspective, which there's a ton of awesome in-game dialogue here. They've really outdone themselves on this one, but most importantly, each class serves a significant purpose in combat. They feel very different, and I really think there's something for everyone here. Specifically, it has a much more balanced approach combat-wise, where long-range weapons and abilities are way more prevalent. There's auto shotties, automatic rifles, las guns, grenade launchers, flamethrowers, and a bunch of psyker staffs. Yes, there's still a heavy emphasis on melee, but not only do Tide games do this incredibly, but it's much more balanced compared to the Vermintide franchise, depending on the character you play, and it's a refreshing change that I think will appeal to a much broader audience. So if you're less of a slashy and more of a shooty type of slayer, there's a lot here to love, and I'm very happy to see the change.
Loyalty is its own reward.
I do want to cover a few issues that I've encountered in the beta. Firstly, I have experienced some crashing, which has come and gone every couple days, and there's probably a host of issues Fat Shark is working on to correct this, but I've probably sent them around 30 crash reports with details about what was going on when the crash occurred, so this is definitely something that needs to be fixed. I am happy they've rolled out dedicated servers. I think a lot of Tide players are going to be excited about this. This was a long-standing deliverable they committed to, but never fulfilled in Vermintide 2, so getting back into a mission if you've crashed is much easier, and the entire mission isn't lost if the host crashes, since there is no host now. There's also some visual optimization that needs to be addressed. There's a lot of texture pop-in, and ray tracing pretty much makes the game unplayable performance-wise. I did a bunch of A/B testing, and I think it straight up just doesn't work, because I couldn't even tell a difference with it on or off, so there's for sure some work here to be done to optimize the game.
Aim true and strike deep.
With those few issues I've experienced out of the way, that brings me to my final first impression, guys, which is overall, Darktide really feels like it's going to push the genre forward, and save some sort of unexpected issue, the beta was awesome, Fat Shark is very engaged, and I think this game is gonna be incredible. I have way more to talk about that I'll cover in my review after the full game releases, but what I've played so far is extremely good, and I'm excited to bring you a ton of content on this one, and I'll be streaming it as well, so keep an eye out for those live notifications if you see them. Thanks for joining me today, guys. Again, if you're new to the channel and looking forward to Darktide, hit that subscribe and bell button below to join me for all my future content. Leave me a comment below and let me know what you're excited about, or what you liked so far if you pre-ordered and played the beta already. I would love to hear from you. A big thank you to all my amazing patrons for your support, and if you'd like to support the channel, there'll be a link at the end right here to my patron page. Check that out, and I will see you on the next Gurhm's Garage. Peace.